Chapter 245 Capturing. Rose flames. Mo Fan yelled out. When the flames with the pure lineage faced off with the lower-grade flames, they displayed their innate prestige. The current rose flames had an aura that was even stronger than usual. As the energy condensed, the flames became stronger. Mo Fan moved the engulfing rose flames onto his arms, where the fierce flames burned impatiently. Fiery fist. Mo Fan raised his fist as he half knelt. He used his fist, brimming with the energy of fiery fist, to smash into the ground. The surging dust began to shake. Groundbreak. Mo Fan's voice was vigorous and domineering. The fist that shot out was sustained by the power of the rose flames as it entered the ground. Bang! Suddenly, the place where Jia Wenqing and Fu Tianming were standing on exploded with a surge of energy. It was like a colossal fierce beast was about to burst out from there. The ground of the cage roared, and a red flame erupted from the ground. It was just like the eruption of a small volcano. The erupting flames turned into a flower filled with magnificent destructive powers. The pillar of flames appeared to be the stalk, the tongue of the flames became petals, and the magma was filed within its pistil. The sight was astonishing, carrying an extreme destructive force. I Tutu and Mu Nujiao were a bit astonished as they saw this. Their faces had flushed red. Within the flames, Jia Wenqing and Fu Tianming were both trying to call out their defensive magic equipment. However, their little pieces of magic equipment were of no use within the tyrannical high temperatures coming from the spirit-grade flames. Their defensive magic equipment only lasted a couple of seconds before they were turned into ashes. Their bodies had been hurled into the air as they suffered the extremely high heat that came from the flowering groundbreak. The captivating red flames burned for a long time. Mo Fan was not being lenient toward Jia Wenqing and Fu Tianming. He didn't even bother to look at them as the two fell down from the air, their bodies turned completely into charcoal. Killing people would usually turn someone's eyes red. However, after Mo Fan had eliminated Yuang's two pawns, his gaze at Yuang was filled with flames. Yuang was behind his mask, making it hard to see his face. However, from the eye that he revealed, it showed that he was currently in shock and disbelief. It had barely been more than 2 years since the calamity of the Bow City. In these 2 years, a person who had nearly failed the admittance to a magic high school had actually grasped an incredibly powerful destructive force. This was impossible, even if they had the underground holy spring. Even a warrior-level cursed beast was unable to kill him, and the 2 intermediate magicians were completely crushed. No wonder Wei San, Wei Si, Wei Wu, and the army of dark beast they brought along was completely destroyed. This guy didn't only possess the strength of 4 elements, each of the elements' might was extremely abnormal. Yuang, will definitely turn you into a slave that will become so miserable that you'd rather die in this life. The scars on Yuang's face started to ache and burn once more. However, he knew that he was unable to touch Mo Fan this time. Yuang didn't dare to remain. Whether Fu Tianming and Jia Wenqing were alive or not was not something he cared about. He didn't even care about the cursed beast as he began to hurry toward the outside of the beast-taming iron cage. Mo Fan was trapped within the iron cage and unable to walk out. After he saw Yuang fleeing, he also vowed to himself, no matter where you'll run, Mo Fan, will definitely take your life. Yuang escaped from the Pearl Institute using every sneaky trick he could. It was with great difficulty he finally found a place where he could breathe and take off his mask. It revealed the other half of his face, which was completely scarred and mangled. The disfigured part of his face was bleeding, his anger had torn the fused and melted flesh. Naturally, his face had begun to split once more. He looked extremely bizarre and scary. "Sir Deacon, we failed our mission." Yuang took a deep breath before he reported events with a communication device. "Sir Deacon? Deacon." Yuang suddenly realized something before his face had gone pale. Sir Deacon had been caught. Crap. With the Deacon caught, how could he, a tiny priest, possibly escape from the heavenly network of the magic court? Furthermore, once a Deacon was caught, all the priests under him would be unable to escape. All of the members of the Black Vatican within Shanghai could be considered as trapped within a pot. Yuang lost his spirit. He felt as though this lively city had millions of eyes upon him. He ran with his life at stake. No matter what, he could not end up in the hands of the magic court. It was that Mo Fan, that godforsaken Mo Fan. During the calamity of Bow City, he should have personally dealt with the bastard. How could he have ended up where he was now, otherwise? Even if he was able to escape from the claws of the magic court, when he returned to the Vatican, who knew if the other half of his face would remain? He had failed to obtain anything. The Blue Deacon and all of the members of the Vatican he was in charge of were being cleaned out completely. Master Salin would definitely go crazy with anger. Not good. Even if he was able to escape, he could not return to the Black Vatican. Yuang made his decision. He definitely couldn't let Salin know that he was alive, or else he would suffer even worse than what would happen if he landed in the hands of the magic court. When he was ordered to deal with Mo Fan, Yuang was extremely happy. Never did he imagine that he would actually end up in this kind of situation, where he was being pursued by the magic court while being unable to return to the Vatican. What happened here? Heavens, what is this strange creature? That's disgusting. Corpses. There are burned corpses. Someone has been killed. It's the Great Demon. The person within that iron cage is the Great Demon, Mo Fan. Following the disappearance of the Great Nix regime formation, and the tracks of the Shadow Beast, the students began to gather at the beast-taming iron cage. They were surprised to find that the beast-taming iron cage had gone through an extremely fierce battle. There were traces of magic everywhere as well as astonishing scratch marks. The origins of the scratch marks were most likely from the monster that was stuck there like a butterfly on display. As for those burned corpses, no one knew who they were. There were wounds on Mo Fan, especially the long cut across his chest. They could almost see his internal organs. I-22 and Mu Nujiao's healing medicine were given to the Mo Fan inside the cage. However, Mo Fan's wounds were clearly cursed, and thus could not heal. Blood was still flowing out. Mo Fan, are you all right? Ms. Tong Yu's deeply concerned voice came on his Bluetooth. I won't die. Did you catch your person? We've caught him. We will finally be able to pull out the roots of all the power behind the Black Vatican in Shanghai. Tonight, there'll be a great purge. Tong Yue said a bit excitedly. However, Tong Yue heard Mo Fan's breathing was very heavy. Her voice immediately turned soft as she said, "This was all thanks to you this time." It was Shu Jiaoting, Mo Fan said bitterly. Yes, no matter what, we were able to wipe out the Black Vatican's force this time. You guys have provided a great contribution. I will notify the captain of the magic court, Tong Yue said. I let Yuang escape. I'm worried that he will attack again, Mo Fan said. Don't worry, it's impossible. The person in charge of the Vatican's mission this time was him. With his mission failed, he won't dare to return to the Vatican. We will announce a wanted list for him, and as long as it is a city with a hunter union and a magic association, he won't dare to tread into them. Not just cities, but even safe areas. Even if he escapes, all he can do is become like a magical beast. And magical beasts are definitely not friendly with us, Ms. Tong Yue said. Mo Fan nodded, feeling a bit more relieved. Yuang had to be eliminated. Mo Fan was worried that he would hurt more of the people close to him. Even if he was a wanted man, it wasn't guaranteed that he would be unable to hurt people. No matter what, if there was a chance, Mo Fan would definitely have this person eliminated. Mo Fan would only be able to sleep properly once all the risks were gone. Chapter 246, Inviting the Healing Element. HMPH, even you have a day like this. If you didn't die, then you can still be considered somewhat lucky. Shen Mingxiao and Luo Song stood outside of the iron cage as they looked at Mo Fan, who was bleeding profusely. Bai Zhangfeng and Song Sha had also arrived outside. They looked at Mo Fan, who was obviously injured. Bai Zhangfeng took joy at this sight. Luo Song, however, kept looking at the cursed beast that was pinned there. The cursed beast was tormented until exhaustion by the reinforced giant shadow spike. It didn't even have the strength to move its fingers. With such an ugly and scary creature appearing within the campus, the students were naturally talking about it. How did you receive such a severe injury, again? A girl who appeared to be quite delicate hastily strode over as she saw Mo Fan laying at the edge of the iron cage. Mo Fan turned around and saw a relatively familiar face, but he couldn't recall her name. All he could do was grin. Let me heal you. Don't move. The delicate girl crouched down on the other side of the iron cage as she began to control her stars. HMPH, why are you helping him? Can't you see that most of the people here are too lazy to even bother with him? With you helping him like this, won't you just cause all of the people in school to hate you? The boy next to the girl asked. The girl called Ting Ting didn't care about everyone's gazes as she continued to control her stars. I have a cursed corrosion effect on my body. You can't heal me, you're heal, Mo Fan began to say to her. I'm also not the same primary magician as in the past, Ting Ting smiled, as a white star path emerged beneath her feet. There was more than just a single star path. They were both intertwining, as soft as a silk ribbon as they curled around the girl called Ting Ting. It made her appear holy and pure. The healing ray slowly floated over. Its effect was completely different from the primary magic. The intermediate healing magic was more like a spiritual butterfly. Wherever there was a wound, it would be attracted to it like a flower. As it followed the smell of blood and the aura of corrosion, the healing butterfly began to flutter around. It quickly began to eliminate the corrosion and swelling on Mo Fan's rotting wounds. A normal staunching medicine was of no use. However, when the butterfly lightly breezed past, the blood immediately turned into scabs. There was an extremely eye-catching cut across Mo Fan's chest. Outside of where the flesh had turned slightly black, you could clearly see white bone. The healing spirit butterfly lingered around for a long time before it was able to remove the curse, and sewed Mo Fan's wound back together. This whole process only caused Mo Fan to feel slightly itchy. There was no pain whatsoever. His pale complexion began to recover some color. Mo Fan, who was laying in a pool of his own blood, wanted to get up, but he was scolded by Ting Ting, saying, "Lay down. You lost too much blood. The healing spirit butterfly will help you recover some of it." Mo Fan obediently laid back down. As expected, the spirit butterfly sprinkled some sparkling powder that entered his skin, and he could clearly feel his blood surging. His dizziness slowly began to dissipate. I Tutu was standing by the side and couldn't help but mumble, "This godforsaken great demon. Why does he have an intermediate healing magician helping him heal?" The students who were in the vicinity were also shocked as they saw this. Why? The healing element was similar to summoning. Both were few in number. Thus, all of the female healing magicians on the campus were regarded like Guanyin. Note: Guanyin equals goddess of healing. Magicians who possessed great destructive magic power frequently suffered wounds every now and then. Many of them wouldn't be able to talk due to how painful their wounds were. If they knew a healing magician, then all their problems with magic would be resolved. The healing element had always been protected, nurtured by many elements. Those who paid attention to them would form a huge line. Under this incredible competition, the students who had gained the favor of the healers were very small in number. During the rookie competition, Mo Fan had probably offended the healing elements as well. So how come there was an intermediate healing magician who would come out and heal his wounds, and take such care of him? This made those who were watching from the side extremely envious. It was the first time for a lot of people to experience a genuine healing magic. It looked like that extremely heavy wound was healed within just minutes. In the magic campus, the most important relationship you had was the one you had with the healing goddesses. "Alright, you're fine now." Ting Ting displayed a smile, as if she didn't mind anything else. This made Mo Fan think of Xinxia. Could it be all girls who awakened the healing element had hearts this kind? "Thank you," Mo Fan said in appreciation. "The person who should be saying thank you is me. My name is Bai Ting Ting." Bai Ting Ting showed a pure smile. "Oh, my name is. I know who you are. That day when you saved me from the phantom beasts, I already recognized you and your great fame." Bai Ting Ting smiled once more. "You mean his notoriety, ha ha ha." While the two were talking, a man walked over, panting with rage. This person was precisely Bai Zhangfeng. When he saw his own cousin healing the scoundrel Mo Fan, he began to get extremely angry. "Ting Ting, why are you healing him? I know you like to help people, but you need to also consider just how notorious this person's name is on our campus. If you help him, then isn't that equal to ruining the name of the Bai family?" Bai Zhangfeng immediately brought up their family. How could Bai Zhangfeng not get angry? Whenever he was wounded, his younger cousin Ting Ting had never helped him heal at all. Now, she had spent so much mana just to help the great demon, and she did it in front of so many people, as well. "Why do you care so much about my things?" Bai Ting Ting raised her head and glanced at Bai Zhangfeng, her tone immediately turning cold. Bai Zhangfeng was at a loss for words. His eyes carried rage as he glared at Mo Fan. Who knows anything about this beast-taming iron cage? Could someone quickly let me out?" Mo Fan yelled out. "Let me help you ask." Bai Ting Ting immediately offered. As expected, once the healing sister opened her mouth, everything seemed to become much easier. Accordingly, a senior student who had once guarded this place began to explain how to open up the beast-taming iron cage. At last, Mo Fan finally left the cage. Don't walk away. That creature, as well as those corpses, you will need to give an explanation. Shen Mingxiao immediately reached out and grabbed Mo Fan. Yeah, if I'm not wrong, then those two people must be Fu Tianming and Jia Wenqing. Did you kill them? Mo Fan glanced at the two corpses, and did not back off at all. I did indeed kill them. Chapter 247. Rest assured. Good, 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 as long as you admit it. You killed two intermediate magicians, and they were both students of Pearl Institute. You even summoned such an ugly murdering creature. Mo Fan, you won't be able to escape today. I see that you are most likely a member of the Black Vatican. Luo Song smiled coldly as he pointed at Mo Fan. The Black Vatican? So, Mo Fan is a member of the Black Vatican, no wonder. I saw a creature that was extremely similar to a dark beast within the dark maze, so I wasn't hallucinating at that time. Everyone's gazes landed on Mo Fan, as a Black Vatican hat settled on Mo Fan's head in their hearts. There were bodies, and there was also a cursed creature. This was undeniable proof. Whoosh! Just when everyone was getting over intense, a slipstream curled from the skies above them. It blew fiercely onto the flags that were located on top of the building. Some people raised their heads and suddenly saw wings like an eagle appear. After looking carefully, they realized it was actually a pale-faced man whose back bore a gorgeous pair of eagle wings. He dove down from the skies as his sturdy figure shocked them all. It's Nighthawk, from the Magic Court. Someone immediately recognized this extremely famous expert from the Magic Court. There were many experts within the Magic Court. Among them was a person with eagle wings who everyone knew of, and that person was precisely Nighthawk. He hovered around the skies of the city with eyes like an eagle. The targets he locked onto had never been able to escape. Cursed beast? Nighthawk of Magic Court's gaze fell onto the body of the cursed beast. However, he quickly realized that this cursed beast had been tormented until exhaustion under the incorporeal shadow energy restricting it. Nighthawk of the Magic Court scanned through the masses as he asked, "Which one of you is Mo Fan?" "Sir Nighthawk, you came just in time. That person is Mo Fan. He is a person from the Black Vatican. He has killed two students." Luo Song immediately jumped out as he blamed all of this on Mo Fan. Shen Mingxiao and Bai Zhangfeng had also encountered the dark beasts. Thus, they also decided to target Mo Fan. "Shut up!" Nighthawk of Magic Court snorted disdainfully at those people who were pointing. At the same time, he walked over in front of Mo Fan with eyes that were indeed similar to a hawk. He sized Mo Fan up before saying, "Mo Fan, you single-handedly destroyed the network of disciples and priests of the Black Vatican. Although you are young, your courage is incomparable. That's really good." After saying this, the Nighthawk's pale face displayed a smile that could not be hidden. His gloved hands clasped Mo Fan's shoulders heavily. The words of the esteemed Nighthawk of the Magic Court thoroughly shocked everyone around them. Single-handedly destroyed the network of disciples and priests of the Black Vatican? There really were people from the Black Vatican sneaking into the school? And they were all gotten rid of by Mo Fan? "Unfortunately, one of the priests escaped," Mo Fan said quietly. "It's fine. If it wasn't for you and the Shu Jiaoting who has passed away, how would we have been able to completely pull out the network of the Black Vatican in Shanghai? I represent the Magic Court as we thank you for stepping out so bravely." Nighthawk's eyes were filled with praise. There were so many experts and incredibly capable people within the Magic Court, yet none of them had been able to do anything about the Black Vatican. Even now, they hadn't been able to punish the person behind the scenes responsible for the calamity of Bo City. Who would have thought that their operation this time was able to completely pull out the network administered by the Blue Deacon? They didn't know how many members of the Black Vatican were actually concealed within Shanghai. However, with them being able to uncover such a large amount of people, it would actually eliminate the danger to many people who had been targeted by the Black Vatican. "I only wanted to take revenge for Shu Jiaoting," Mo Fan murmured, clearly unimpressed. "No matter what, you have helped the Magic Court get rid of a great disease. Your strength is quite outstanding, and your bravery exceeds many others. How about this? After you graduate from Pearl Institute, you can come to our Magic Court. We'll let you become an intern for the magic court, and when the time comes, we'll turn you into a genuine member. Nighthawk wanted to recruit him. The Black Vatican were stirring up trouble everywhere nowadays. Every area had concealed danger. The judges from the magic court were all risking their lives, so the chief of magic courts wanted to recruit some new reserves. Nighthawk thought that in this day and age, where people were completely terrified when they heard the name Black Vatican, finding someone like Mo Fan who had the guts to face off against the Black Vatican face-to-face was extremely rare. In addition, his strength was incredibly outstanding. This kind of person was someone the magic court definitely wanted to recruit. The second everyone heard Nighthawk wanted Mo Fan to join the magic court, the reaction on all the students' faces could be described with 3 words. What the fuck? What kind of place was the magic court? It was a holy place of dreams for all magicians who had cultivated so bitterly. Not only did the magic court possess paramount authority that no one could question, the resources that the magic court provided for all of their judges would cause any magician who wanted to become the best to go crazy. Ever since their childhood, the idea that their schools had been hammering into the students' minds was, a magician's duty is to protect humanity. And what was the highest-ranking organization for protecting humanity? That would be the magic court. Thus, when the Nighthawk expressed his wish to have Mo Fan join the magic court after he graduated, waves of jealousy, admiration, and hatred swatted down onto Mo Fan. We'll be taking back this cursed beast. As for these 2 people's true identities, we will also properly investigate, the pale Nighthawk told him. All right, Mo Fan nodded. After going through this great battle, Mo Fan was naturally extremely exhausted. Although his wounds had been healed, his mental state was completely worn out. Fortunately, he possessed 4 elements, which was 4 reserves that could store mana. Otherwise, he would have run out of mana ages ago after such a long battle. Not long after, the people from the university arrived. They saw Nighthawk and were shocked. People from the Black Vatican sneaking into a school was an extremely scary matter. Who knew what those heartless people would do to these extremely naive students? When they found out that Xu Jiaoting and Zhang Lulu had been killed by people from the Black Vatican, Dean Xiao's last few words for the speech of the examination this time turned very gloomy. He knew that the Black Vatican came to deal with Mo Fan. However, he did not know that they had already snuck into the school. Dean Xiao believed that he had failed his duty when he was unable to protect his students. Originally, he wanted to do something for Xu Jiaoting's family, and then he found out that Xu Jiaoting no longer had one. Thus, all of the compensation would be given to Zhang Lulu's family. Mo Fan finally returned to his own accommodations. Being extremely exhausted, he laid down on the couch on the balcony. The night was extremely dark. Mo Fan, who had always been optimistic, recalled the scene when he had burned 2 people to ashes, and he started hyperventilating. Their vengeance was done. Although Yuang did not get punished, he could no longer return to the Black Vatican or to human civilization, which was no different than being dead. The Black Vatican people overseen by the Blue Deacon would soon be completely eradicated, all because of the name that had been concealed in the abdomen of Xu Jiaoting. Mo Fan finally understood why so many people were scared of the Black Vatican. It was because, when you battled the Black Vatican, blood would be shed. Monkey, what are you doing? Let me tell you something. Mo Fan laid there as he told Monkey over the phone about the things that had happened during the past few days. Brother Fan, don't blame yourself too much. All of us who have gone through the calamity of Bo City have a firm determination to destroy the Black Vatican. If it was me, I would have done the same thing as Xu Jiaoting. The blood he shed was worth it. If he knew that you used the name he brought to you to destroy a member of Blue Deacon level within the Black Vatican, he would definitely bring it up with his family in the Yellow Springs. Zhang Xiaohou said sincerely. Mo Fan nodded in agreement. He was indeed not able to save them, but at the very least, he did not fail them. They could finally rest assured. Chapter 248, The Night of Sweeping. Black clouds covered the flourishing city below like a dense brocade. The city was big, like the physique of a colossal giant. The roads with flickering lights were dense and crisscrossed in every direction. The many red tail lights looked similar to blood being transported throughout the body of the city. It was still active at midnight, like the heart of a giant that was still beating. In some of the corners, and some of the dark areas that were hard to find, it seemed a parasite, a tumor, a larva had latched itself onto this great city. In a single night, all of that was being eliminated. Perhaps they might hurt the flesh and bones during the extraction, but everyone was clear that these dangers were concealed. Perhaps the next time, there might even be large chunks of flesh, or even an organ affected by it. In order to protect the people that resided in this giant-like city, when they removed the bad blood, they definitely could not be lenient. Mo Fan was laying on the balcony the whole time. The floor was high up, and it allowed him to see the beautiful night scene of this giant city. He had called Ms. Tongyue several times, but all of them went to her voicemail. Thinking about this night, all of the justices from the magic court were currently fighting. Mo Fan could not see this battle, and those students who were discussing the shadow beast within the school also could not see this. The normal people who had already fallen into deep sleep did not see this either. However, that does not mean it didn't happen. I-Tutu suddenly jumped into Mo Fan's line of sight. "Hello. Why are you laying there like a dead person? Tell us just what happened, or else I." What came into Mo Fan's line of sight was not actually her pouty face, but her large chest. Furthermore, she was wearing a tank top. Just how could he resist that? "Nothing, really. It's my own things. It's better if you don't know." Mo Fan realized that he was also a very thoughtless person. When he saw that big white rabbit jumping around, his mood also turned into his normal lazy one. "Bullshit. Why are the people from the Black Vatican targeting you? Was that cursed beast subdued by you? I heard that those cursed beasts are warrior level. How could you, a student, possibly fight against a warrior level creature? Also, were that Jia Wenqing and Fu Tianming really from the Black Vatican? Could you be an undercover agent that was put into the school to deal with the Black Vatican by the Magic Court?" Oh, that must definitely be the case. I-Tutu's large number of questions immediately swatted over and slapped his ears. "You're really creative. You should go and write some novels." Mo Fan was speechless toward I-Tutu. "Also, the most important question. If you answer this question, then you won't need to answer the other questions," I-Tutu said seriously. "Ask away," Mo Fan said. "Just what elemental magician are you?" I-Tutu asked. This question was precisely the same question that Mu Nujiao, who was sitting on the couch, wanted to ask. When I-Tutu asked this, she also turned her head over as her beautiful eyes watched Mo Fan. The first time seeing him at the rookie competition, Mo Fan was clearly just a summoning magician. His spirit wolf was basically invincible. Afterwards, he displayed an intermediate lightning magic. This could also be considered normal. Perhaps his major element might have been the lightning element, and then he began to cultivate the summoning element. After all, an intermediate magician was able to use two elements. However, when Mu Nujiao was watching Mo Fan in combat, Mo Fan had clearly shown power from other elements. This was a question that continuously perplexed her. Within the beast-taming iron cage, Mo Fan's performance was extremely astonishing. As he walked out of the flames, his whole body was enshrouded in a captivating flame. The strength that he displayed at that time was precisely intermediate fire magic. The incredible might of the fiery fist, groundbreak, was something that was still fresh in Mu Nujiao's mind. He's also a fire magician? But how could that be possible? His cultivation had yet to reach the advanced level, yet he possessed 3 different magics. Didn't you guys see it already? What's the point of asking? Mo Fan also did not deny it. The truth was, the two of them were very considerate. If they were to ask some people that came from Bo City, they would most likely know about the innate dual element thing. Even if they knew about it, it wouldn't change much. Do you really have 3 elements? By now, Mu Nujiao was no longer able to sit quietly. She immediately stood up, and her curvy, delicate body immediately popped into Mo Fan's vision. I-Tutu's little mouth formed into an egg shape as she looked at Mo Fan in disbelief. Great demon, you really are a freak. Innate dual element is something from legends. Not only do you have that many elements, you are even able to cultivate them to a realm that most people cannot do. Mu Nujiao immediately grasped onto the most important aspect of this. The scene of him using the fire element convinced Mu Nujiao that Mo Fan's fire elemental strength far exceeds that of his summoning element. It was even a bit stronger than even his lightning element. Furthermore, this guy didn't possess common fire. It was spirit-grade fire. Great demon, if this is the case, that means your strongest element isn't summoning nor lightning, but is actually the fire element. I-Tutu said, that sounds about right. I-Tutu basically kneeled down. Mu Nujiao was actually a relatively strong woman herself. She initially thought her own strength was on par with Mo Fan. However, who would have imagined that he had actually cultivated 3 elements, with lightning being the secondary. The summoning element, which had defeated over 100 people, was his minor, while the fire element was his major. Suddenly, a feeling of defeat washed over Mu Nujiao. "You freak!" I Tutu began to pant with rage. I Tutu enjoyed playing games. She initially thought she was pretty awesome. However, it turned out that she couldn't even win against someone else's Smurf account. Her heart began to feel conflicted. During the night they were sweeping away the Black Vatican, another incredible thing happened in Hangzhou. The news only mentioned something based on no evidence. There was no concrete proof to what they were saying. After this thing had turned into a strange occurrence, it immediately was lost behind the other news that people were more interested in. Mo Fan was listening to Xinxia mentioning this over the phone. This vaguely made Mo Fan recall when Ms. Tang Yue mentioned she had some matters to attend in Hangzhou. However, just what exactly happened in the Shihu region that was filled with a beautiful, poetic grace was most likely something that only the Magic Court and some higher organization would know. Not too long after the invasion of Black Vatican happened, Mo Fan went to visit Xinxia's school. Xinxia and Lingling were very close. The two of them seemed to be sisters. Did anyone have plans against Xinxia? Mo Fan asked Lingling. Don't worry, she will definitely be fine. Hangzhou has a magic court office, so normally speaking, the Black Vatican wouldn't dare to come all the way here to seek death. However, when I was protecting your little girlfriend, I discovered something that you probably never realized, Lingling said. What is it? Mo Fan asked, feeling confused. Sister Xinxia seems to have someone protecting her already, Lingling declared.